The intellectual union of these local groups set the environment for Black Power movement. As the first real generation of Black college students entered Bay Area neighborhood executive dynamic, is California restructured public education with master plan as setting a rapidly expanding black community of students grows to a vastly population and which while Afro-American Association recruits through the Auckland, each large merging associates emerge at Merritt College, effectively known as Groove Street. The Afro-Americanism has a deal and a supporting ground for attract groups to a definition of identity would engage Berkeley students into dialogue by regularly staging streets day-to-day troublesome. The association held capitalized a militant working area colleges and universities. California educational system was undergoing a complete restructuring. In the early 60s, the Master Plan for Higher Education revolutionized the state-dense network of public institutions. Policymakers developed to the plan in response to a series of long-term pressures that Golden State have faced since World War II. In the subsequent decades, these issues came to head. Recurrent waves of immigration, combining with immense economic growth, necessitated a much more comprehensive education policy. Officials expect the California student population to double in 15 years. In fact, it actually quadrupled. In 1960, 227,000 students enrolled in the state institution of higher education. By 1975, the total reached 1 million. Given this unprecedented demand, a way to be found accommodated in the housing crisis. 60 different resolutions restructured governance, organization, and finance of state's educational system. The Master Plan also established a method of administration that increased the local control over public institutions. No single board ruled over the entire system. Instead, the state erected separate structures of governance for each tier. This new era in higher education institutionalized the tripartite system of education that had developed on an ad hoc basis in California since the Progressive Era, consisting of University of California, California State, and junior college systems. It allowed for official methods of transfer between tiers so that, in theory, all students could gain access to University of California. New opportunities shaped some of the more practical concerns of the Black Studies movement at the community college level. Moreover, it also vastly extended the number and size of junior colleges. Partial state funding for local initiatives provided 22 new campuses that were required to admit all students with housing dynamic class student movement that culminated in founding Black Panther Party for Self-Defense. The aggravation grouped by this identity grounding activity would lead these groups to political tendencies. One of these groups, AAA, was an inchoate black militant body across the country, being groomed by middle-class levels of integration and influence surrounded by Groove Street Move. The student body came from poor migrant family that was victim of violent economy. Two that took hold in which the increase in black students fed political organizing and political organizing turn attracted people who would never have considered attending college. The resulting synergy between the expansion of higher education and the politicization of African American youth is a crucial and understudied aspect of post-war black radicalism. The tendency in an older black power historiography to overemphasize issues of violence versus nonviolence and white expulsion from civil rights organizations has obscured the internal changes inside northern and western black communities produced by immigration, rapid urbanization, and newfound educational access. In California, black college students appeared consistently at the forefront of radicalism. In Crisis of Democracy, Samuel Hunsinger argued that democratic surge of the 60s expressed most profoundly in higher level of self-consciousness among blacks, Chicanos, and other marginal groups, stemming from the transitory process of change rather than lasting results of change. The school that came to be known as Merritt College went through many different transformations. Its origins were elite. In 1923, the Oakland School Board commissioned Charles Dickey to build a secondary school. University High Schools was to serve the sons and daughters of academic faculty and expose them to the most modern pedagogy that Berkeley of the 20s could offer. Expensive courtyards, wide hallways, and arched windows were meant to draw students toward higher thoughts. University High's design and curriculum represent the triumph of progressive ideals. At the head of the auditorium and the hand-cover sign proclaimed the progress of all thought, all, under the leadership of wisest and best. Amidst the disruption of war, University High School closed its doors in 1946. The Merritt Business School moved into the building soon after to provide veterans and working class people with practical education. Several miles away in downtown Oakland sat its sister school, the Laney Trade and Technical Institute, as the class and age composition of the student body shifted. Vocational training and private enterprise replaced the lofty ideals of Merritt progressive ancestors. The Oakland Unified School District, president of both schools, until local officials established the Oakland Junior College system in 1953. In the early 50s, Merritt and Laney developed a clear division of intellectual labor. Merritt specialized in the liberal arts and came to be known as the Queen of the Humanities, while Laney continued to be a vocational school with extensive apprenticeship programs. The types with high school diplomas. This new capacity expanded working class college enrollment and provided the institutional base for merit influx of black students. This state policy of education created an opportunity for local students and their thinking activity. These 22 campuses became local campuses of parties for students and local urban thought. As large number of black Southern immigrants poured into California during and after World War II, they immediately recognized the low-cost, accessible higher education as one of the state's most important resources. Starting in the late 50s, community institutions like Oakland City College witnessed a steady increase in the population of African American students that quickly outstripped the number in comparative elite University of California system. While architects of the master plan gave little thought to how the attempts at social engineering would affect African American migrant communities, the expansion of California's system of higher education had far-reaching effects on local black youth. Increased enrollment meant not only better economic opportunities, but also participation increased in militant campus culture of early 60s. Study groups, black student unions, and protests for a black studies curriculum became important means of consciousness raising. As a result, many of the radical groups that emerged later in the decade stemmed from this earlier period of student activism. Historian William O'Neill has argued that the democratization of higher education inaugurated a basic shift in youth culture from secondary schools to colleges and universities. When the 60s began, youth culture meant the way adolescents lived. Its central institutions were the high school and the mass media. Its principal activities were consuming goods and enacting courtship rituals. As time went on, college enrollment increased to the point where colleges were nearly as influential as high school in shaping the young. On the West Coast, this structural shift contributed to the spread of black nationalism and later black power. Among American African youth, starting in the early 20th century, California boasted the largest university enrollment in the country. While black youth lacked the equal access to many of the Golden State's abundant resources, they clearly benefited from California's unprecedented investment in public higher education. By 1969, the San Francisco Bay Area had the highest rate of college completion for people of color nationally. Over 13% of non-white residents aged 25 or older had completed 4 years or more of college. This remarkable figure was nearly double the percentage of New York Citians, 6 times that for St. Louis, Missouri, and at 11%, Los Angeles alone remotely approached levels of minority college completion comparable to those in the Bay Area. These numbers had a political as well as socio-economic significance. The early infrastructure for Black Power organized in California centered in study groups at public universities. Helmut Liu